Yeah, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a follow-up on the little introduction to this little Porsche Boxster that I've just treated myself to, and I'm going to be attempting a headlight restoration, because as you can see on the front of these headlights here, the passenger side headlight is a hell of a lot hazier and duller than the driver's side, but the driver's side is also starting to go as well. As you can see from this angle, the very top of the light itself is starting to get a little bit of haze. The bottom of it seems okay and relatively clear, but that top half is really starting to go a little bit due to the UV from the sunlight just starting to deteriorate the plastic. But as you can see on the passenger side, this is a hell of a lot worse. It's not as bad as some lights that I've seen out there, but it's definitely in need of a restoration just to try and get it back to its sparkling bright best. Try and get it back to pretty much OEM looking as well. Now, to be able to do the headlight restoration, I'm going to be using some different grit sandpapers, probably starting at 400 grit, then 600, then maybe 1000 and 2000, and then finishing off with some polishing compound as well. I'm going to be doing this on both lights, and just to be sure that I'm not going to be affecting any of the paintwork around the lights as well, I'm just going to get some masking tape and mask off all the way around the headlights, all the way around in a circle basically, just to make sure that when I am applying the when I'm doing all the sanding, I'm not going to accidentally just brush over and clip any of the edges of the paintwork, because I don't want to break any of the paintwork with any of the sandpaper. Hopefully it's not going to be too long and too involving of a job. I'm hoping to try and get it all done probably within an hour, maybe 2 at the most. Hopefully it's going to take even less than that, maybe 20 minutes per light, but we'll see. As I say, I haven't tried any headlight restoration before, but this is going to be a good experiment, because as I say, it certainly needs it, and as long as I've masked off all the paintwork, I can't really do any damage or anything like that, as long as I'm not burning into the plastic of the headlights. And because I'm going to be doing the vast majority of this by hand, there's not going to be any chance of melting any plastic just by sanding it by hand as well. So as I say, let's go and get some of the sandpaper out. I'm going to be doing some wet sanding throughout as well. It's not going to be dry sanding, so I'm going to make sure both the headlights and the sandpaper are both really wet when I'm applying the sandpaper. Again, just to be sure that the sandpaper is not going to be burning the plastic. I just want it to be basically scuffing the top surface, not causing any damage and digging deep into the plastics or anything like that. So we'll go get some sandpaper out, we'll get some masking tape out. As I say, we'll get both of the lights fully masked around, we'll get them both sanded down, and then we'll get them polished up and see what they look like. As you can see here, this is going to be pretty much a nice little before shot, and hopefully when I pick it back up later on, we should have some nice, really nice sparkling headlights for an after shot as well. So let's get some sandpaper out, some masking tape, let's get cracked on and get these headlights polished up and see what the final outcome is. Right, so paper for the sanding. As you can see here, I've got a nice little mix. I've got some 400 grit, some 600 grit, some 1200, some 1500, and if I need some 2000 as well, I've always got some 2000 on top of that as well. But this is what I'm going to be starting off with, starting with the 400, working up to the 6, then the 12, then the 15, and then we'll see what it looks like and if it needs any further finer grit after that or not. So as I say, let's get this masking tape all the way around the lights, and then we'll start the wet sanding and see what the final result's going to be like. Right, so now that the headlight is fully sanded down, as I say, that's gone through 400, 600, 1200 and 1500 grit, and that's feeling really nice and smooth now on all of the plastic. So to give it a final polishing up, I've still got some G3 and G10 polishing compounds from when I used to do some of the van DIY paint jobs when I was polishing those up as well. This is basically industry standard type polish. If you're after any of the bits, check the link in the description below, and I'll link out to all the bits I'm using, including the sander, all the sanding paper, and as I say, this G3 and G10 polishing compound. This stuff is really highly regarded in the industry as some really industry strength style polish as well. Now I could polish it all up by hand, as I say, there's no issues or problems with that, but because I do already have a polisher, it seems a bit daft not to actually use the tools I've already got to hand. But if you don't have a polisher, if you've literally just got some microfiber cloths and things like that, you would still be able to do it with just polishing cloths and rags. Obviously it would just take a little bit more time than using a polisher. Now if you are going to use a polisher like I am, you want to be doing it on almost as slow a revolution as possible. You really don't want this going fast, because as I say, any really fast movement over the plastic has the potential to possibly burn and melt the plastic. So we're going to be going as slow as possible, starting with the G3, then we'll move up to the G10. We'll have a look and see what it looks like, whether it needs any more final grit polishing or not, or whether this is going to bring it up as new. So we'll give it a polish, see what it looks like, and if I'm happy, then we'll then move on to the second light. But it's coming along nicely, so we'll see what it looks like when it's all polished up. Right guys, so there we go, that is one headlight fully done and pretty much fully restored, and as you can see, that's coming out really nicely now. All of the slight hazing that was at the top of the lens, that's all gone, and all of the scratches that were put in going through the variety of different grits of the sandpaper, that's all worked out now as well. And with that final polishing, that's come out really nicely. So that's one done, and as I said, that one wasn't really the worst one. The passenger side is a hell of a lot worse. But if I just do a little couple of steps back, you can see the hell of a difference there between the passenger side and the driver's side that I've just done. And obviously I've got a hell of a lot of polish to clean up as well, just from the polishing up as well. But I'm going to give the full car a good wash down after this is all done. But I didn't see the point in washing it before I did the full restoration of the headlights first. So let's get cracked on and get the passenger side all done as well. Right guys, so there we go, that is both of the headlights fully polished up now. I've also just given the car just a very quick wipe down just to get rid of all of the polish splatter. But as you can see, this headlight on the passenger side has come up almost as good as new, especially compared to what it looked like before. As I say, the driver's side was already in relatively good condition, but again, just a quick polish has brought that up as good as new as well. But if I just bring up a couple of before and after photos, especially of the passenger side, because as I say, that was the worst of the two headlights. So I'll just bring up a little before and after here, just to show you the big difference that just half an hour's worth of sanding and polishing has done to this headlight. So there we go, there's a before and after of both the driver and the passenger headlights. As I say, it's roughly around about half an hour per headlight. I was using 4 different grits of sandpaper, 5 minutes per grit, just going through with 400, 600, 1200, then 1500 grits. That was about 20 minutes. Gave it all a wipe down, gave it a polish with 2 different polishing compounds, the G3 and the G10. And as you can see, this has literally come out as good as new. I'm really happy, pleased and impressed with how this has come out. For half an hour's work, as I say, this is just brilliant. So if you're after any of the bits that I've used to restore these headlights, have a look in the links in the description, and that'll go out to eBay for similar sort of sanding papers, for the same polishing compounds, even the polisher that I use as well, in case you want to go down that route as well. But as I say, you don't have to go down the machine polishing route. You can polish up the final polishing by hand, but I've already got the tools, so I figured I might as well use the tools that I've already got. But that's how I've fully restored both of these headlights on this little Porsche Boxster. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As I say, the before and after shots. They really do show the hell of a difference just for what they were. And as I say, for the sake of half an hour a headlight, it's really worth the time and the effort, considering price wise. You're talking pennies for the full restoration really. And I say for the price of a couple of sheets of sanding paper and a little bit of polish, and a lot of people will actually even use some toothpaste for a polishing compound for this as well, so you don't even have to go down the route of getting proper polishing compounds. You can just use the bicarbonate of soda enriched toothpaste, and that'll give relatively similar results as well. But as I say, this is how I've fully restored both headlights on this little Porsche Boxster. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you on some next videos coming up, again as I'm rectifying a couple of little niggles on this car as we're going through it. So hopefully you found the video useful. Give the video a little thumbs up if you don't mind, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and hopefully we'll see you in some future episodes. Thanks for watching. Cheers.